Hello, friends. Happy Black Friday. I hope that everyone had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope that you're enjoying your day today if you're off from work. I thought I would just hop on here and go live with you guys today. So, we're off today. I've been organizing my creating area, and I'm trying to get better organized. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, welcome to Mountain Made Creations. If you're new here, I'm Jill. I'm so glad you guys are here. If you are watching live, let me know that you're on. Just give me a comment so I can see if I see comments. Most of the time I can't see them, so I'm hoping that today's different. But if I can't see your comments and you're commenting, I will come back and answer any questions that you might have. So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be making a Santa door hanger. And we're going to be putting the Santa on here. As you know, I've been making these boards. These are like the oars, wooden oars at Michael's. I buy them in bulk. And they're much cheaper if you get them in bulk. If you buy them single, they're right expensive. So if you're going to be making a lot of these, I would suggest to buy in bulk. And you can only do that online, but the shipping is pretty quick. And it's free shipping most of the time over a certain amount. So we're going to use the St. Nick mold from IOD. And that's Iron Orchid Designs. And this is the mold that we use to make the Santa. It's a right deep mold, and let me just tell you, this mold is amazing. The details, that all the IOD molds are great. I went ahead and did this ahead of time because it takes an hour for the ceramic to cure. So I used the mix to mold ceramic resin, and it is non-toxic like the regular resin. I mean, I'm sure it's toxic because it's a chemical, but I don't know if this one is food safe or not, but I know that it's much safer. There is food contact safe once cured. So I know that a lot of the resins are pretty strong, but this one doesn't really have an odor that I could smell. And it's a powder. You mix 3 parts powder to 1 part water. So I do 3 scoops to 1 part water. For the Santa mold, I use 6 scoops of powder and 2 scoops of water. And the little measuring cups are the same as the scooper. And so that's what we did to make the Santa. And let me show you, this is what they look like when they come out. Absolutely beautiful. These molds are so amazing. Now, because it's ceramic, it will break easily. So be careful with that. I have found that gluing these ceramic Santas, it's a little heavy, onto the wood with Titebond, it holds it. So I was worried that it wouldn't hold it, but it does hold it. So that is a very positive thing with Titebond. So it will hold it very good to the wood. I have sold every one of these that I've made. These are very popular. And I had not made one using a green board. So we're going to paint this board green. And what I've done is I went ahead and prepped Santa, this one. I went ahead and painted him white. And I used the DIY paint. I'm not even sure what color this is, but it's white. I can tell you, I can find my box and tell you. But anyway, I painted this white. Then I sprayed it with a sealer, let it dry. And now we're going to go over him with black. And then we're going to wipe that back with a baby wipe. And then we're going to do the red hat. We're going to put some white on his rim, a red part up here. We're going to do his face in a normal skin color. And we're going to put some white in his beard. So we're going to do all that. And that's why I went ahead and made the Santa. Because like I said, it takes an hour to cure. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get this board painted and let it be drying while we work on Santa. That way it won't take so long. So I'm going to paint the board, with the Waverly Chalk Paint in Fern, and I know I can't switch the cameras around. It's so frustrating. I wish Facebook would fix that, but they have not fixed it yet. So what we're gonna do, I've got stuff in the way because this board is so long. I'm going to pour the paint into my little tray, and then we're gonna paint it on with a sponge roller, and we're gonna let this dry while we work on Santa. But I just thought this would be so cute on a green board since I haven't done green. I've done white and black and white. So I thought green would be pretty. And then I'm probably going to come live with you guys again tomorrow to do another project that involves nutcrackers. And what I'm doing is I'm working on some gifts. I'm working on some custom orders. If you guys were on the page earlier, I posted a Black Friday deal for the photo block words. Now, I have very limited quantities of those. They're normally $15, but Black Friday, you can get them for $10 up and through midnight tonight, plus shipping if needed. So I do ship if you need it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go around and paint all the edges green, and I love this color green. It's really pretty. And so that's what we're doing right now. I hope that you guys are enjoying these clay and ceramic ideas I've been using with the IOD stencil or IOD molds, because they're just, they have become really popular at shows, and I enjoy making them. They're so much fun. And all right, so we've got the sides done. Now we're gonna paint the front. I hope everybody had a great day yesterday, relaxing and eating good food. We had a get together at my mom's, and that was so much fun. Family time is best. We tell stories and we laugh and reminisce about things. It's just a lot of fun. So I hope you guys had a good one too. And I think I just got, maybe not. If you're using chalk paint and it gets on your clothes, it will wash out because it's acrylic based, so no worries there. And believe me, I've got paint on just about everything. So here's the board, and I didn't even put y'all down, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put this over here to dry in front of the fan. And I'm gonna move this out of the way. This. So this part gets a little messy because we're going to put black on Santa and wipe it back. Now, if you've seen the black and white Santa that I did, that it's going to be the same effect, but then we're going to go back and put traditional colors on the Santa, like the red hat and all that. So we're gonna do that next, and we're going to use baby white. And the reason I sealed this is because the DIY paint reactivates. So if you get it wet, it'll reactivate the paint, and I don't want to wipe the white part off because that's like the base. So, okay. This Santa mold is one of my favorites. Other than the sunflower, this is like top runner up. I am loving the Santa mold. He is gorgeous. All right, so I'm going to get a bigger brush, and like this. Or maybe I need to get like a brush that is like kind of fluffy. So, or not fluffy, but you know what I mean. Oh, here we go. This is a chip brush, so I'm going to use this because it will get down in the crevices and all that. Now, we're not painting to like cover everything because we're going to wipe it back with the baby wipe. So I'm going to use the black. Let me get the box. I got this DIY paint in a sampler to try and see if I liked it, and I do love it. But the black is called Little Black Dress. The white was White Swan. So I painted it with White Swan, then I sealed it. So now I'm going to paint it with the Little Black Dress, and then we're going to wipe that back. And I'm going to stir this up a little bit. Okay. So stick. Actually, this is the gray. So this is weathered wood, so I didn't really want to use this one, but I'm going to go ahead and use the weathered wood because we're just trying to give it like a distressed look, if you will, and so that's how we're going to do that. So I'm just going to get some paint on here, and I'm just going to start covering him up, and this does dry pretty fast, so you want to move kind of quick. And I know that if y'all haven't seen me do this, you're probably saying, what is she doing? But this is, it's just such a cool look, and you just got to trust the process. When I first did this, I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? But it's so pretty, the outcome. It really is pretty. So if you're watching, let me know, and I need to keep an eye to make sure my internet doesn't drop. It has done that a couple times right in the middle of my lives. It just drops the Wi-Fi for some reason, and it's very frustrating because if I'm painting, I'm not looking at the phone. I don't know how long I was talking and wasn't even on, but that's all right. We got through it. And you don't really have to get every single, speck of him. You just need a good coating over the entire thing. And you want to wipe it back before the paint dries. So, I know that might sound crazy, but you just got to trust the process. Okay. And he looks pretty good. All those edges are good. So now I'm going to wipe all this back with a baby wipe. And probably more than one. So I'm just taking a regular baby wipe, and we're going to wipe them back. We're just going to wipe all that back off that we put on there, and the gray color that we painted is going to stay in those crevices. So that is what we're doing. We're just wiping it all back, getting all that off of there. And it's going to be so pretty when we get done. Oh my goodness, y'all. These are one of my favorite things to do. And I really like the black and white one. It was really pretty. And like I said, these have been my best Christmas sellers so far this year. And I'm new doing it this year. We didn't do this last year because I just found out about all this wonderful IOD things. So it's been super fun working with it. And I'm probably going to wipe him off a little bit with a paper towel, and then I'm going to put him in front of the fan, let him get dried, and then we'll put another coat on the board and let that dry while we finish up Santa. And this part does get messy, but it's so worth it. It's so, so pretty. Have y'all been like getting bombarded with Black Friday emails? Oh my gosh. It's crazy. I mean, there's lots of good deals out there, but oh my goodness, it's just overwhelming sometimes. Even though I'll probably do most of my shopping online this year and making some gifts, and also, you guys, the custom photo gifts that I do, the ornaments are flying out of here like you would not believe. So if you want anything, check my website for what we have left. Those photo words, if you want one of those, let me know, because those, I'm limited on those quantities. I don't have a whole lot of those in stock. Alright, so I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm just going to go over him a little bit, and then I will show you what he looks like. And this looks awesome like it is. We could definitely put this on there like it is, but I want the traditional colors on the Santa because we're going to put it on a green board, so we want some colors on Santa. We want him to pop. All right, so I'm going to put this in front of the fan and bring the board over here, and we're going to paint that again, another coat, and then we'll start working on Santa. So give me 1 second. Alright, so here's our board. I guess I need the cardboard. And I don't know if y'all heard me talking about the, there was a mold that was a tree, and I can't think of the name of it, and it was retired, so it was hard to find. And like, you could find it on Etsy for $80, and I'm like, I'm not paying $80 for that. Well, I found one on a Facebook group that I'm in that sells the that people can go on there and sell their molds and whatever they have. And somebody had one, and I got it, and I was like, oh my gosh, let me see. I just did a ceramic tree, and I spray painted it with red, but y'all, and then I put the Paint Couture Sheer Frost German glass glitter on it. Oh my gosh, oh, look how pretty that is. You see it sparkle? Isn't that gorgeous? But it's got so many details in that tree, it would literally take you forever to paint that with a brush and get it all. So I used spray paint. Cheated a little bit. All right. One more coat on here, and I think we'll be good to go. And so I do the edges first. It's just easier that way. And then we'll go ahead and put another coat on it, even though one coat was probably good enough. But we're going to go ahead and just do another coat, just because that's what I normally do, is 2 coats on everything, just to make sure. And then we'll work on the Santa, because that's going to take a little bit, not much. All right, guys, I'm not seeing any comments yet, so did anybody go out early this morning for the Black Friday deals? Are there even still deals to get? It seems like all the deals are before Black Friday now. All right, let me put this over there and grab Santa. So, yeah, Black Friday, it seems like there's more deals before Black Friday now. It's weird. Or online. I kind of like not having to go anywhere. All right. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna start working on Santa. So let me dry him a little bit in these crevices. It looks a little bit wet in there still. But basically what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna go over, like I'm gonna do some white for his beard, and then we're gonna do some skin color. I'm gonna mix some colors and see what we can do for his skin. And then we will do some red for his hat and white on the brim and white on the beard, and then we'll do his eyes. All right, so I'm just gonna get a little bit of paint on my brush, and I'm just gonna start painting. Now, I'm not gonna do like, I don't wanna cover everything up, so I'm just gonna kind of go over it a little, not actually covering everything, because I still wanna leave some of that black in there, and it's still kind of wet. So let's just go over some of the top areas in white. I don't really want to get down and cover everything. I may have to wipe that back a little. I think I got too much. But I just want to brighten up his beard. So I don't want to get into all of where we had the black or the gray, the dark gray. I just want some on his beard to give him a little bit of color. But not too much to take away from the look that we wanted by doing the black, the gray first and wiping it back. So just brightening him up a little bit. I'm gonna wipe that back a little bit where we did, I got a little bit too much white, more than I wanted right there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go over the brim of his hat and let that beard dry a little bit. But like I said, we're just gonna go over it a little. We don't wanna cover everything. We just wanna brighten him up. Just a little bit. And I don't wanna get like a bunch of the white color on his face, because we're gonna go over his face with some, we're gonna maybe mix some brown and white. But that's just a little bit to brighten him up. Now I'm gonna go over his eyebrows a little bit too, just so everything kind of is uniform. So you see how the white just kind of brightened him up a little bit. And now we're gonna go ahead and go over we'll do his red hat. And this is Carnival Red DIY paint. So I'm gonna get a little bit smaller brush to get into his hat. So I'm just gonna use that small brush. Cause like I said, oh, I didn't get the little pom-pom on his hat. We need to get that. And like I said, it's not, we're just kind of brightening him up a little bit. We don't actually want to cover up all the dark that we put on him. And then we'll go for the red and do his hat and see how that looks. And I do want to be careful not to get the red where I don't want it, like on his pom-pom or on the brim of his hat. So I'm just being a little bit careful in those areas. I just got some on his little pom-pom. And so the dark underneath on his hat kind of gives it like shadows. And we'll probably do 2 coats on this. but it does give it that shadow effect. So it's really pretty. I love it. I think he's gonna really make that green board pop when we put him on there. And I'll pick him up and show him to you in just a minute. But we're probably gonna need to do 2 coats. So while his little hat is drying, we will go back over, and I'm getting red all in the brim, but we'll go ahead and work on his face while his hat is drying. But look how pretty that is already. So yeah, Santa is gonna be so cute. All right, so now, let me get some tinfoil. We'll mix a little bit of white with the brown to give him like that skin color look. That's actually going to be too big of a brush. Let me see. It's crazy how many brushes I have. Goodness. All right, so I'm gonna get a little bit of white on here, and then I'm gonna get some brown. We're gonna mix that a little bit. And so we'll put that on his face, maybe a little bit more brown. Much better. And then we'll do his eyes. I'll probably just do brown eyes. I did blue on one of them and it looked okay, but I mean the details in these molds, y'all, are crazy. I mean, you can see every little wrinkle on his little face. I just think that these are just so fun to do. And it's something that I can incorporate with what I already make. So it's not like I had to change anything. And because I love making the door hangers, and these go so good with that. And this is the first year I've had these, so they sold really good at the craft shows. I wasn't sure how they would do, but yeah. And on my live tomorrow, I'm going to be using some stamps and watercolor. And we're going to make a board with nutcrackers. And that is actually going to be a gift for someone, so I hope that they're not watching. All right, so I'll hold him up and let you see what that does. It just gives it so much. It just changes the whole thing. I absolutely love it. So how do you think he looks so far? I love it. And we're gonna put a little bit of rosy on his cheeks when that dries a little bit. And so I'm gonna go ahead and try to do his eyes. I'm just gonna do a little bit of brown. And hopefully I don't mess this up. His eyes are so tiny. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back and go over the white on his beard again. And the just a little bit And I need to fix where I went over the red and got that messy. Actually, I need a small brush for that. So let's do this. So try to fix up that where I got the red on the rim of his hat. So if you're not a painter, this is going to be just for you, because I can't freehand paint anything, but I can do this, and I absolutely love it. All right, so we're going to go back over his hat with another coat of red, and we're going to put some rosy on his cheeks. Let me make sure I don't need to put that fan on. All right, so I'm just going to go over this again, and like I said, we're not trying to cover everything. We're just giving it some dimension and adding some color. I mean, with these molds, it's really easy to paint. So don't worry if you're not a painter, because I'm not either. I mean, a freehand painter. And we're also going to stencil onto the board the little saying, "Believe in the magic of Christmas," just because I think that's really cute. Let's check him out. So cute. I don't know if I'm crazy about his eyes. I may need to do something else with the eyes. But so far so good. So now I'm going to put a little bit of red and some white and get some pink on his cheeks, just a little bit. Now that's too much, so we're going to go over that with some white. We'll get him all fixed up. And I'm going to wipe that back a little bit because I just think it's too much. So you can always wipe it back and make it how you want it. Alright, so I'm going to fix his eyes because I don't like the way his eyes look. So we got some rosy on his cheeks, and we're going to use some of this gray. and go over his eyes. Because that is like, I don't know, it looks weird. That looks better. All right, so I think we have Santa looking pretty good. Okay guys, what do you think? Doesn't he look amazing? So I think he's gonna be gorgeous on the board. All right, so what I'm gonna do is grab the board. We're gonna stencil on that, let him dry some while we do that board. We'll put him over there. I'll be right. Okay, so we have our board, and we're gonna stencil on there white, and I'm gonna use the Folk Art chalk paint in white Adirondack. So we're gonna use this stencil. This is a Mylar stencil that I cut on my Cricut. If you are interested in a video on how to cut your stencils on Mylar on the Cricut, let me know and I can do a video, because it's been a learning process for sure. Alright, I'm going to use one of these Santas as a guide to where I want my stencil to be. And I think that looks good right there. So I'm just going to tape that down, take him off. And we might do some snowflakes, and I'll probably grab a stencil that I used on that. So when I do stenciling, I use a makeup brush and some chalk paint. So we just want to get some paint on here, and then we're going to dab it off. And then we're going to just lightly dab on the stencil. Not a lot of pressure, because if you do a lot of pressure, it will bleed. And you basically just want to dab with your wrist and not your whole arm. That's where I was messing up when I was doing this. I was putting way too much pressure and it was causing a bleed. So you just want to dab with your wrist and not your whole arm, if that makes any sense at all. It's kind of hard to explain it, but once you figure it out, you'll know. And so once I just dab it in that paint and then offload it, and then you just pounce it. I hold it like this, and I'm just pouncing with my wrist. Like if you're doing this and everything on your table is moving when you're pouncing, you're way too much pressure. And I think I will put some like little stars around. It looks really pretty when you do that. So I'm gonna grab another stencil when I get Santa and add some of those stars around it, just like I did on the black and white one. I just think these boards are so cute. The little oars, the wooden oars, I just think that they're so neat and different. I haven't seen anybody in our area that uses these. So most of the door hangers at the events I go to are laser made, and there's a lot of those. And while I would love to have a laser, it's out of my budget right now, but there's a lot of laser cut door hangers at these shows that I'm going to. So I feel like I'll just keep doing what I'm doing because people are buying it and they like it. So I'll just keep doing that. It works and I love doing it. I can't imagine just cutting it on a laser and gluing it on and not painting. Let's see what we got here. Everything looks good. A little bit more on these little words. Let's see here. Looks good. So we get the nice crisp lines, even with when we're using a makeup sponge and a stencil. It's amazing. So let me grab that one stencil with the stars on it. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So here's the stencil, and I'm just going to use these little stars to go around it, and I'm going to use one of these Santas as a guide to know where to put them. So I'm going to start up here. I'm just randomly placing the stars around. And let's come down here and do one. do one down here. Oh, I gotta fix that one for sure. And I'll show you how we can fix that. All right, so you see that I messed up right there. So we're gonna take that off with a disinfectant wipe, not a baby wipe. And the baby wipe, you don't want to use on here. You want to use the disinfectant wipes, but you need to be careful because it could remove some of the paint you don't want removed. So, oh, that scared me to death. Okay. Now, we got that removed, so we're gonna try that again with the little star. There we go. All right. And this is just from the ceramic on that Santa I used for my guide. So I'm just going to wipe that off, and then we're going to glue down the other Santa. Get this paint off. I think that looks really good, and then we can make a bow, and then we'll be done. All right, so let me go grab Santa. Then we'll get him glued down. So here's our Santa. How sweet is he? You guys, these are so fun. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put on some glue. And this stuff is Tight Bond, Quick and Thick, and this stuff is super thick. Like, I can't squeeze it out. I have to put it into a cup. And then do it that way. Because it's super thick. Ooh, I got some white. I got some white on the edge there that I need to get off. We'll get that in a minute. So one of these, it doesn't take too long to make. It's a lot quicker, you know, if you're not doing a live, but still pretty quick. And you want to put a good amount on your Santa. You want to put a good amount of this glue on there because you don't want it to come off, and it dries clear, so you want to make sure you go all the way to the edge, because if this thing falls off, it's gonna break. But so far I have not had any come off. And it does take a minute to get all this on there, but it dries fairly quick. It's not gonna dry like while I'm doing this, so you've got time, but it does dry pretty quick, and it's thick, so it's gonna stick on there. Like I said, it's super thick. Whoa, that was probably way too much. That's all right. We can put it right back in that container. And like I said, it dries clear, so you're good with that. All right. Let's get this glue off, and then we will put him on there. And you can squeeze it right onto the Santa if you prefer that. I just can't squeeze it hard enough to get all that glue out. All right, let's get Santa on there, and then we'll make a bow, and then we will be done. All right, Santa. I love this. I love it on the green. I think it looks so good. What do y'all think? Oh my gosh, how cute is that? Doesn't he look so good? All right, so I've got him pushed down pretty good. I'm just gonna sit it back here. We're gonna get that extra white off, and then we're gonna make a bow. But I can't put the bow on yet because once he dries, I'll go over all of it with the spray sealer, and then I'll go over it with spar urethane. And you probably don't have to do that much sealing it, but I like to do everything with the spar urethane sealer because it protects it from the weather and the sun, and it's just a good sealer, and I just have a habit of that. So you guys, isn't this adorable? All right, so I'm gonna put him back here, and I have picked out some ribbon, but I'm not sure. I think we might need some red, so maybe some red and white. I don't know if we should use green, even though that is pretty. Maybe we should do green and red and white. Let me see. Maybe the red and white and then this green. I'm not sure. Maybe just the red and white. We'll see. Let's get it done. Now, I usually make my bows using 16-inch strips, but since this is a lot smaller, we're going to start with 12 or maybe 10-inch strips, because the loops are not going to be as big as what I normally put on a bow, because it's a lot smaller. So we're going to do 3 strips of each. And I always dovetail one end, so I just fold it in half and cut it at an angle, and then it dovetails it. So we're gonna do the red and white, and then if we think it needs green, we'll put green. But I think red and white would be better because the board is green, and you might not be able to see it as well. Maybe let's use some glittery red. Use this red. This ribbon I get at Sam's Club. You get 50 yards, and it's like $8. It's a super good deal. If your Sam's has the ribbon and you use ribbon, get it, because it'll last you forever, and it is great quality ribbon. And the price is amazing, because if you go buy ribbon, even at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, it can be expensive if it's not on sale. All right, so we're gonna do 10-inch strips, and we'll do 3. And then once that, I'll give that board time to dry, and then I'll seal it. And then I'll post the pictures on the page. if you're watching this on YouTube, check out Mountain Made Creations on Facebook, and you can see the finished items that we make posted there. Okay. All right, so what I take the strips, and I'm gonna do, fold it in half. You want the dovetail on the long end, so I'm gonna fold this in half, and just like this, and then I'm gonna scrunch it, and it's gonna be tiny because we want it to be smaller for that. And then I'm just gonna go to the red, do the same thing, fold it in half, scrunch it, and then just put that in my hand. Same thing over and over. So you fold it in half, scrunch it, put it in your hand. So we're folding it in half, then we're gonna scrunch it at the bottom, and then we're gonna put it in our hand. Then we'll go back and move everything around or adjust it how we want it, and zip tie it. These are the easiest bows ever. I used to really struggle with bows, and I learned this bow from a group I'm in. Profitable sign maker Ashley Rates showed us how to make this bow, and it has been a lifesaver. Okay, so now there's our little bow. So I'm gonna take a little zip tie, just a tiny zip tie, and go around. If I can do this with this little one, I don't know if I can. I may need a bigger zip tie. And you want to make sure all your loops are the right size before you tighten it all the way. Like this one needs to come down a little. That's the right one. Yeah. All right, and this one needs to come down some. All right, so now we're going to tighten it. Okay, broke it. These little zip ties are so tiny. Oh, well, I'm gonna have to do it again because the loop came out. So I'm gonna use a bigger zip tie. Goodness. Let me grab another zip tie. A little bit bigger will be better. Okay. So we're gonna do this all over again. Oh, that's okay. These bows are so easy to make, you guys, so easy, and they look so cute. They come out pretty much perfect every time. All right, so now you want to make sure you have them all the same. I'm going to run the zip tie above my finger. These zip ties are awfully flimsy. They came from Amazon. I actually just got those in today. Did it again. Okay. Sorry, guys. Luckily, it is easy to make. Super easy. But I'm not used to making such small bows. But it's okay. All right. One more time, guys. One more time. Okay. These I can actually pull with my hand. Some of them I can't pull all the way. Okay. So let's see what this is going to look like on the board, and then we will be done. And I'm just kind of pulling out the little tails around, so when we put it on the board, all the little tails are out. And then we can cut to adjust. And then we can adjust the little loops how you want them and place them where you want them. Super cute, you guys, super cute. There we go. And it'll look better once I attach it, but what do you guys think? Isn't he adorable? Oh my goodness, the Santa came out so good. So yeah. All right, guys, let me know what you think, and we're gonna hop off of here. And I'll get that sealed, and I'll get that bow rearranged, and I will post pictures of that later. So let's do a devotion really fast, and then I'll hop off. It's the 28th. I can't believe another month is almost gone. All right, this says, provider of needs. God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. 2 Corinthians 9:8. God loves the generous giver and blesses him. God himself gives abundantly so that his children may have enough in all things. He gave his Son, the Holy Spirit, and the excitement of new redeemed life. God promises us that we will have all that we need. If we trust in the Lord completely, we can be certain, regardless of how dark the storms are above us, how great the need, we will always have sufficient strength and grace. We only need to ask God to provide in our need. From his unfathomable grace, he will every day in every way provide in all our needs through life. His love knows no bounds. Thank you for the quiet assurance, Lord Jesus, and that I will always have sufficient strength and grace for every situation in life. Amen. How true is that, you guys? God is the ultimate provider, and he is awesome. So let me know what you guys think. Did you like the Santa board? And what did you think about the green color? All right, so tomorrow I'll be going live, and we will be using, I will show you. This is the Sugar Plum IOD stamp, and I'm going to be using the nutcrackers, and we're going to put those on a board, and we're going to do some watercolor. So you guys stay tuned for that tomorrow. I'm not sure what time it will be, probably around the same time. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. I hope you rest up, eat all those good leftovers, and I just hope you have a great rest of your day. And you guys take care, and I will talk to you soon.